Well, the Bulls tried. They tried. I guess that should maybe count for something given this team's lack of effort throughout the season, although that execution down the stretch was pretty bad. Letting the Suns go on a run like that and effectively blowing them out. That's what actually makes the game so annoying, and the Bulls letting it end that way is the score looked a lot worse than what the game actually was. Like, the Bulls were really in this game throughout until the final 4 or 5 minutes or so. The Bulls had an amazing second quarter, arguably one of the best quarters we've seen from them all season, where they flipped the script, being down 13 towards the start of the quarter to finishing the half up 4. They outscored the Phoenix Suns 35-20 in the second. But of course, Suns came out firing in the third quarter, regained the lead, and although the Bulls made some pushes to keep it close, keeping it within single digits, that late push at the end of the fourth with some great outside shooting by the Suns, as well as all of those second chance points that absolutely killed the Bulls and have for a while now, giving up way too many second chance opportunities to their opponent throughout the entire season. That's what ended it for the Bulls. But as disappointing of a loss this was, you also have to remember they're playing one of the best teams in the NBA, a team that is expected to be title favorites, and the Bulls faced them at the worst time when they're at their healthiest. I mean, this team was down in the dumps just a couple months ago, falling all the way to 10th in the West, but instead of the Bulls seeing them when they're all injured, they were on a massive losing streak. No, it's when Kevin Durant is back, Chris Paul is healthy, Devin Booker, Ayton are all in the lineup, Josh Okogie decides to light up the Bulls like he's an all-star out there. So yeah, never a good recipe for a team like the Bulls going against the Suns. But anyway, the two biggest difference makers in this game, which shouldn't really be too much of a surprise to anyone because we've seen it all season, but that's the three-point shooting disparity and second chance points between the two teams, or really the number of offensive rebounds the Bulls gave up to the Suns. Suns had 13 offensive rebounds compared to the Bulls 9, and when the Bulls did get second chance opportunities, when they actually got offensive rebounds, they couldn't capitalize, while the Suns did. I'm especially remembering when the Bulls were in a desperate need of a bucket in the final 4 minutes or so. I think the Suns were up either 12 or 14, and the Bulls had 3 offensive rebounds, got good looks on all their shots coming off the rebound, but they couldn't knock them down. And then more importantly, the three-point disparity. I mean, the Suns are one of the better outside shooting teams in the league, so you would expect they're going to get more threes than the Bulls, who are dead last in the NBA in three-point attempts. But tonight, 47 threes taken by the Suns to the Bulls 23. Nearly double the amount of the Suns, and the Suns made 20 of said threes compared to the Bulls 7. Been the same story all year. You're not going to win very many basketball games in 2023 when you're not shooting from behind the arc. Simple as that. Vucevic has just really been struggling recently, really since the All-Star break, for a guy who had been playing well in a contract year. Last game he was 5 for 15, tonight 6 for 15. 13 points to go along with 9 rebounds. I mean, aside from DeMar DeRozan, most of the team struggled to shoot the ball well tonight. Lavine has been playing a lot better ever since the break, but towards the end of this game, he went super cold. Ended up 27 points, but on 18 for 21 shooting and 2 for 7 from deep. What I did like about Zach tonight was seeing him being aggressive and getting to the foul line, drawing contact, especially when moving quickly on a fast break. DeMar had 31 points on 13 for 18 shooting to go along with 6 assists, but like the rest of the guys, his shots weren't falling in the fourth quarter either. Patrick Williams got the start over Alex Caruso, which was the right call considering the size and length of the Suns, as well as the matchup against Kevin Durant, which Pat did okay against KD. Not that you're ever really going to be able to shut down Durant, but it also wasn't one of Pat's better performances on the defensive end against Kevin Durant that we've seen him do in the past. Pat, for the most part in this game, kind of let Kevin Durant do whatever he wanted and also finished the game minus 26 when he was on the court. The bench tonight, not good. Coby was a non-factor, same with Drummond. Caruso was okay, Io was decent, but again, none of this really mattered in trying to outdo what the Suns did when you look at the fact that Booker was able to get whatever he wanted, cooked the Bulls yet again. When Booker was sitting, Durant got his, Okogie torched the Bulls from deep, even Chris Paul hit 3 big threes in the fourth quarter that really sealed the game and put the Bulls away. But anyway, as I mentioned, I can't be too mad about this game in the sense that the Bulls actually played hard throughout the game. They actually competed against arguably the most talented team in the league from top to bottom, but still, a loss is a loss, and it's unfortunate because the Bulls still remain 6 games below 500, 11th in the East, 2 games now separate them and the Wizards for the 10th spot. They're only 1 game ahead of the Pacers and 2 games ahead of the Magic for 12th and the 13th seed. Kind of makes you go back on the tank train to really try to figure out how you can salvage this top 4 pick now that the Bulls actually have a higher chance of keeping that pick than making the playoffs. But we know based on the communication from Billy, Donovan, as well as the front office, they're still going to push to make the playoffs. They're not going to shut guys down and just try and tank. It's not happening. But hey, maybe the Bulls will just slowly tank on their own unintentionally. They've kind of been doing that all season. But the Bulls are off tomorrow before they take on the Pacers on Sunday. Need to win that game, but the Bulls have blown 2 big leads to the Pacers recently, losing both games. So we'll see where that takes them. Man, it's really tough being a fan of this team right now. Really appreciate you guys for sticking around and supporting this channel. We're almost at 32K, by the way, so be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.